Most people think the law of attraction is only about wishing for things and waiting for life to change. Real change works differently. It begins with clear goals, strong focused daily habits, and steady action. When your mind is scattered, your results stay weak. When your thoughts are clear and your actions match your goals, your life starts to move in a new direction. In this audiobook, you will learn how to turn simple thoughts into real progress. You will see how to define what you want, how to stay focused on it every day, and how to train your mind to support your growth instead of fighting it. You will also learn how gratitude, discipline, honest self-reflection, and strong relationships can shape the results you create. This is not about empty hope. This is about building a life with purpose. It is about learning how to stay steady when motivation fades and how to keep moving when progress feels slow. Every chapter is designed to help you think more clearly, act more wisely, and grow with more confidence. Stay with this audiobook until the end, because each part builds on the next, and the full message can change the way you approach your goals from this day forward. Chapter 1. Define clear goals and write them daily with intention. Before you can attract anything meaningful into your life, you have to know exactly what you are asking for. A vague wish produces vague results. A clear goal gives your mind a direction and your actions a purpose. Most people spend years hoping for change while never deciding what change truly means. They want success but cannot define it. They want peace but keep living in chaos. They want better relationships, better health, more money, more confidence, more time, more respect, yet they never sit still long enough to write down what they actually want. That is where the real work begins. Not with excitement, not with luck, not with perfect conditions. It begins with clarity. Clarity is powerful because the mind responds to structure. When you write a goal down with intention, you stop carrying it as a passing thought and start treating it like a command. A thought can drift away in minutes. A written goal stays in front of you. It becomes visible. It becomes real. It becomes something you can return to when your emotions shift and your energy drops. This is one of the first lessons in using the law of attraction in a grounded and practical way. You do not attract what you daydream about for a moment. You attract what you repeatedly focus on with discipline. The pen is a tool of focus. The page is a mirror. What you write reveals what you value. What you write daily shapes how you think daily. And how you think daily shapes how you act. If your life feels scattered, it is often because your goals are scattered. You may be trying to improve everything at once and end up improving nothing deeply. You may start the week with good intentions and end it with excuses. You may tell yourself that you want a better future while your daily choices keep serving the old one. That kind of conflict creates frustration. It wears down confidence. It makes even strong people feel tired. So the first step is not to force more effort into a confused life. The first step is to simplify. Decide what truly matters. Decide what you want most. Then write it down in plain words. A strong goal does not need fancy language. It needs truth. If you want better health, write that clearly. If you want to build a business, write that clearly. If you want to become a better writer, a stronger parent, a calmer thinker, a more disciplined worker, a more trusted leader, then say so with honesty. Be specific enough to guide action. Instead of saying, "I want to be successful," say, "What success looks like to you." Instead of saying, "I want more money," say, "How much more and by when and through what kind of work." Instead of saying, "I want a better life," say, "What part of life needs to improve?" Clarity does not limit your dream. It gives your dream a shape. Many people avoid clear goals because clarity brings responsibility. Once you define the target, you can no longer hide in confusion. You can no longer pretend to be working hard when you are actually wandering. You can no longer blame life for what you have not chosen. But this is a good thing. Responsibility is not a burden when you understand its value. Responsibility is freedom. It gives you power over your direction. The Stoic way of living begins here. You accept what is outside your control. You focus deeply on what is within your control. You stop wasting energy on noise. You place your attention on your own choices, your own habits, your own standards, your own effort. That is where change starts. Writing your goals daily is not a meaningless ritual. It is a method of training attention. Every time you write the goal, you remind the mind of the path. Every time you read it, you renew commitment. Every time you place words on the page, you strengthen identity. You are not just stating what you want. You are telling yourself who you are becoming. That matters because people rarely rise above the identity they carry. If someone sees themselves as careless, they will behave carelessly even when they try to improve. If someone sees themselves as disciplined, they will return to discipline after every distraction. Writing goals daily helps move identity in the right direction. This is why intention matters. Intention changes the quality of the act. A person can write words without thinking and gain little from it. But when you write with intention, you are fully present. You mean what you write. You feel the cost of failure and the reward of progress. You are not scribbling dreams. You are making a personal agreement. An agreement says that your words are tied to your actions. That is a serious thing. Serious things deserve seriousness. This is not about making a perfect plan overnight. It is about choosing a direction and honoring it each day. Start with one goal if you need to. Do not overwhelm yourself with 10 demands when you have not built the habit of following one. A single clear goal can change your life if you stay with it. Write it in a notebook where you can see it every day. Keep the language simple. Keep the wording direct. Write it in the present tense if that helps you feel connected to it. For example, I am building a healthy body through daily movement and wise eating. I am becoming more skilled in my work through daily practice and focus. I am saving money every week and making decisions that support long-term stability. The point is not to pretend the goal is already complete. The point is to speak in a way that teaches the mind what is becoming true. Then add the reason. Every goal needs a reason that matters to you. A goal without meaning becomes easy to abandon. A goal with meaning becomes harder to ignore. Why do you want this? Not the polished answer. The real answer. Do you want to be healthy so you can live with energy and avoid pain? Do you want financial growth so you can support your family and stop living under pressure? Do you want emotional strength so you can become calmer under stress and less controlled by fear? Do you want mastery in your craft so your work reflects your standards? The reason gives the goal weight. The reason keeps you honest when motivation is low. Writing with intention also means writing with emotion, not fake excitement, not loud declarations meant to impress anyone. Honest emotion, quiet conviction, a sense that this goal matters because your life matters. When you write from that place, your words carry more force. You begin to feel the goal instead of merely thinking it. The law of attraction is often misunderstood as a magical shortcut, but in practical life it works through focus, belief, and behavior. What you focus on changes what you notice. What you believe changes how you act. What you act on changes what you create. Writing goals daily aligns those three forces. It points your attention in one direction. It gives your belief something stable to hold. It turns desire into repeated action. A common mistake is writing goals only when you feel inspired. Inspiration is useful but unstable. Some days it arrives with energy. Some days it hides. If you depend on inspiration, you give control of your life to your mood. That is a weak position. You need a habit that works even when feelings are low. This is where discipline enters. Write your goals at the same time each day if possible. Morning works well for many people because the mind is still fresh. Others prefer evening because the day's events help reveal what matters. Choose a time you can protect. Keep the ritual simple. Sit down, clear your mind. Read yesterday's goal, write today's goal, add one sentence about the next action you will take. This small routine can become a powerful anchor. There is strength in repetition. Repetition is not dull when it is done with purpose. Repetition builds pathways in the mind. It teaches your nervous system what matters. It keeps your attention from scattering. You do not become the person you want to be in one dramatic moment. You become that person through repeated acts of alignment. Repeated writing is one of those acts. It may feel small at first. It may even seem too simple to matter, but simple things done with discipline often shape an entire life. A seed does not look impressive. Yet under the right care it becomes a tree. A written goal works the same way. It begins as a few words and grows through attention. To make the practice stronger, add detail without making the goal complicated. Suppose you want better health. Do not stop at "I want to be healthy." Write, "I am committed to walking 30 minutes daily, drinking more water, and choosing meals that support my energy." That gives your mind a direct path. Suppose you want a more peaceful life. Write, "I am removing one source of unnecessary stress each week and protecting time for quiet thought." Suppose you want to grow in your career. Write, "I am improving one useful skill every day and applying it in my work with care." Specific action makes the goal feel real. Real goals invite real effort. It is also wise to write goals that you can control. You cannot control every result. You cannot force other people to respond as you wish. You cannot guarantee timing. But you can control your actions, your discipline, your effort, your preparation, your attitude. That is where your power lies. If your goal depends too much on circumstances outside yourself, you may become frustrated. So write in a way that centers what you can do. Instead of "I will become famous," say "I will improve my craft and share my work consistently." Instead of "I will never struggle again," say "I will respond to struggle with patience and discipline." Control what is yours and release what is not. That is strength. When you write your goals daily, also notice the resistance that appears. Sometimes the mind will argue. It will say this is unrealistic. It will say you have tried before and failed. It will say nothing changes. Do not obey those thoughts automatically. Observe them and keep writing. Resistance does not mean the goal is false. Often it means the goal matters. The mind protects familiar patterns even when those patterns are painful. Change feels uncomfortable because it asks for a new standard. Keep going. Write the goal anyway. The act of writing becomes a quiet refusal to surrender to old thinking. A powerful way to deepen this habit is to write the goal and then write one small action you can do today, not someday, today. This bridges the gap between desire and reality. For example, if your goal is to build a better body, write that you will walk after dinner. If your goal is to save money, write that you will avoid one unnecessary purchase today and check your spending. If your goal is to improve focus, write that you will work for 25 minutes without checking your phone. Small actions matter because they prove sincerity. The mind respects evidence more than promises. Each completed action becomes evidence that you are serious. Do not wait for a perfect plan before you begin. Clear goals are not the end of thinking. They are the beginning of movement. You can refine your path as you go. In fact, you should. Life gives feedback. That feedback helps you grow wiser. The Stoic mind does not panic when plans change. It adapts without losing its center. You can do the same. Write your goal. Act on it. Review it. Adjust it. Continue. That rhythm creates momentum. Momentum is one of the most valuable forces in personal growth. Once it starts, even difficult work feels more possible. There is another important point. Keep your written goals private if that helps you stay honest. Not every dream needs to be announced. Some goals grow best in silence. When you share too early, you may receive applause before you have earned results. That can weaken hunger. Better to build quietly until your work speaks for itself. Write for your own clarity, not for public approval. The page is not a stage. It is a place for truth. The less you perform and the more you commit, the stronger your character becomes. At the same time, do not hide from accountability. A goal written daily can be reviewed daily. Ask yourself, did I act in a way that matches this goal? Did my choices move me forward or pull me away? Did I keep my standards? Did I make excuses? Did I use my time well? Honest reflection is not self-punishment. It is self-respect. A person who examines their own behavior is a person who refuses to live blindly. This habit builds maturity. It also strengthens the law of attraction in a practical way, because you begin attracting results through deliberate conduct rather than wishful thinking. You may notice that when you write your goals daily, your awareness changes. You begin seeing opportunities you would have ignored before. You notice conversations that matter. You notice habits that drain you. You notice small openings for growth. This is not magic. This is focus. The mind filters experience based on what it has been trained to look for. Write a goal every day and the mind starts scanning the world for evidence, opportunities, and solutions related to that goal. This is how attention shapes reality, not by fantasy but by selection. What you repeatedly pay attention to becomes more active in your life. Still, you must avoid the trap of overthinking the goal itself. Some people spend too much time rewriting and rephrasing and redesigning their goals because they fear action. They confuse preparation with progress. Do not let that happen. A goal should be clear enough to guide you and simple enough to keep you moving. It should not become a project of endless revision. A few strong words written with sincerity are more valuable than pages of polished uncertainty. The goal is to live better, not to create the perfect sentence. The deepest value of writing goals daily is not only that it helps you achieve things, it helps you become a person of direction. Many people spend their lives reacting. They react to pressure, to opinions, to fear, to habits, to emergencies, to other people's moods. But when you know your goals, you are less easily pulled around by the day. You still face problems. You still face setbacks. You still face disappointment. Yet you are not empty inside. You have a center. You know what you are working toward. That center creates stability. Stability creates resilience. Resilience creates progress. There will be days when you do not feel strong. Write the goal anyway. There will be days when you do not feel hopeful. Write the goal anyway. There will be days when results seem slow. Write the goal anyway. This is where character grows. Not in the days of ease, but in the days of repetition. The person who writes their goals when it is convenient is not yet mastered by discipline. The person who writes them when it is difficult is beginning to change. That repeated act says something important. It says, I am not ruled by my moods. I am guided by my values. Over time, your written goals become more than instructions. They become a record of your becoming. When you look back after weeks or months, you will see your own growth in the pages. You will see where your focus improved. You will see where your language became stronger. You will see where your goals got clearer because your life got clearer. That record can be powerful in moments of doubt. It reminds you that change is real and that your effort has not been wasted. Even slow progress matters, especially slow progress, because slow progress is often the kind that lasts. If you want this practice to shape your life deeply, combine it with a simple question every day. Ask what matters most today. Not everything, not a long list. What matters most? Then write your goal in a way that supports that answer. This keeps your energy from being spread too thin. A focused life is a calmer life. It is easier to move one strong step in the right direction than 20 weak steps in many directions. Simplicity is not a weakness. It is often a sign of wisdom. You are not trying to trick the universe. You are training yourself to live with purpose. That is a noble task. The law of attraction becomes meaningful when it is joined to discipline. Desire alone is not enough. Belief alone is not enough. Words alone are not enough. But a clear goal written daily with intention can become a powerful force because it brings all three together. It teaches your mind what to notice. It teaches your body what to do. It teaches your character what to stand for. So begin where you are. Do not wait for a different life before you create a better pattern. Take a blank page. Choose one honest goal. Write it clearly. Read it slowly. Let the words settle. Then ask yourself what small action today would prove that you mean it. Do that action. Repeat the process tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. This is how change becomes real, not through dramatic promises but through steady intention. Not through noise but through repetition. Not through waiting but through doing. A life changes when the mind stops drifting and starts choosing. A life changes when goals stop living in the imagination and begin living on paper. A life changes when paper becomes habit and habit becomes character. If you remain faithful to this practice, you will begin to notice a different kind of strength in yourself. A quieter strength, a stronger one. The kind that does not depend on applause. The kind that does not collapse under delay. The kind that keeps moving because it knows why it is moving. Write your goals daily with intention, and you will no longer live by accident. You will live by design. You will think more clearly. You will act more deliberately. You will trust yourself more because you will have evidence that you follow through. And as that trust grows, your confidence will grow with it. Not the loud confidence of empty declarations, but the calm confidence of a person who knows what they are building and why. That is the beginning of real attraction. Clear thought, honest writing, intentional action, discipline repeated until it becomes natural. From there your life starts to respond, slowly at first, then steadily, then in ways you may not have expected. But none of it begins without clarity. None of it begins without intention. None of it begins without the simple act of writing down what matters and returning to it every day until your life starts to match your words. Chapter 2. Visualize desired outcomes daily with strong emotional belief. There is a difference between wishing for something and truly seeing it in your mind with conviction. Most people close their eyes and imagine a better life for a few seconds, then return to doubt, distraction, and routine. That kind of weak visualization has little effect because it lacks depth and consistency. Real visualization is not a passing thought. It is a deliberate act of mental focus where you train your mind to experience a desired outcome as something that is being built through your daily actions. Your mind does not clearly separate what is vividly imagined from what is physically experienced. When you visualize with clarity and emotional strength, you begin to shape your internal state. Your reactions change. Your focus sharpens. Your behavior becomes more aligned with what you repeatedly see in your mind. This is not about fantasy or escape. It is about conditioning your thoughts so they support your actions instead of weakening them. To begin, understand that visualization is a skill that improves with practice. At first, your mind may wander. Images may feel unclear. You may feel nothing. That is normal. The goal is not perfection. The goal is consistency. Sit quietly each day, even if only for a few minutes. Remove distractions. Let your body become still. Breathe slowly. Then bring your attention to one clear outcome that matters to you. Do not jump between many ideas. Focus on one. Picture the result as if it is unfolding through your effort. If your goal is better health, do not only imagine the final result. See yourself choosing better food. See yourself moving with energy. See yourself waking up with clarity. Feel the effort in your body. Feel the discipline in your choices. Let the image include action, not just reward. This is important because your mind must connect success with effort, not just outcome. Emotional belief is what gives power to visualization. Without emotion, the image remains weak. You must allow yourself to feel what it would be like to live that reality. Not exaggerated excitement, but a steady sense of confidence and commitment. Feel the satisfaction of doing the work. Feel the calm strength of following through. Feel the quiet pride of becoming someone who does not quit easily. These emotions reinforce your identity. They make the vision more than a picture. They make it a direction. One mistake many people make is imagining results that feel completely disconnected from their current state. When the gap feels too large, the mind resists. It says this is not real. This creates doubt. To avoid this, build your visualization in a way that feels challenging but believable. Stretch your thinking, but keep it grounded in effort. If your goal is to grow in your career, do not only see yourself at the top. See yourself learning daily, solving problems, improving your communication, handling pressure with calm focus. This creates a bridge between where you are and where you are going. Your brain learns through repetition. When you repeat a thought often enough, it begins to accept it as familiar. Familiar thoughts feel safe. Safe thoughts guide behavior. This is why daily visualization matters. A single session will not change much, but repeated sessions build a pattern. Over time, your mind begins to expect the outcome you are visualizing. That expectation influences your decisions. You start to act in ways that match the image you hold. It is also important to engage your senses while visualizing. Do not keep the image flat. Add detail. If you are visualizing success in your work, imagine the environment around you. Notice the sounds, the movement, the rhythm of your actions. If you are visualizing improved relationships, imagine the tone of your voice, the expressions on faces, the calmness in your presence. The more detailed the image, the more real it becomes to your mind. However, visualization is not meant to replace action. It is meant to prepare you for action. Think of it as mental training. An athlete does not only train the body. The athlete also trains the mind to respond correctly under pressure. In the same way, you are preparing yourself to act with clarity when the moment arrives. When you have already seen yourself making the right choice in your mind, it becomes easier to repeat that choice in real life. There will be days when your belief feels weak. On those days, do not stop the practice. Reduce the intensity if needed, but continue. Even a few minutes of focused visualization is better than none. Discipline matters more than mood. The more you rely on feeling motivated, the less consistent you become. The more you rely on routine, the stronger your results. Another important point is honesty. Do not use visualization to escape reality. Use it to face reality with a stronger mindset. If your current situation is difficult, acknowledge it. Then visualize how you will respond to it with strength. See yourself staying calm when things go wrong. See yourself choosing effort when it is easier to avoid it. See yourself continuing even when progress feels slow. This builds resilience. It prepares you for the real challenges that come with growth. Your environment also affects how well you can visualize. If your surroundings are filled with constant noise and distraction, your mind will struggle to focus. Create a small space where you can think clearly. It does not need to be perfect. It needs to be quiet enough for your attention to settle. This space becomes associated with focus. Over time, simply sitting there will help your mind enter a more disciplined state. A useful practice is to combine visualization with written intention. After you visualize, write 1 or 2 sentences about what you saw and how you felt. This strengthens the connection between thought and action. It also gives you something to review later. When you read your own words, you remind yourself of the direction you are building. It is also helpful to visualize obstacles, not just success. Many people only imagine things going well. Then when difficulty appears, they feel unprepared. Instead, include challenges in your mental rehearsal. See yourself facing a setback and responding with patience. See yourself dealing with doubt and choosing to continue. This builds mental strength. It reduces the shock of real problems because your mind has already practiced handling them. Your belief will grow over time as you see evidence of progress. At first, you may rely on discipline more than belief. That is fine. Action creates evidence. Evidence strengthens belief. As you begin to notice small improvements, your confidence will increase. This makes your visualization more powerful because it feels more real. The cycle becomes stronger. You visualize with belief, you act with focus, you see results, and your belief grows further. Avoid comparing your vision to other people's paths. Your journey is your own. What matters is that your visualization reflects your values and your goals. When you compare too often, you weaken your focus. You start chasing what looks impressive instead of what is meaningful. Stay centered on your own direction. That is where your strength lies. There is also value in keeping your visualization calm rather than intense. You do not need extreme emotion every time. A steady sense of certainty is often more effective. Think of it as quiet confidence. You know what you are building. You are committed to it. You are not rushing. You are not doubting every step. You are simply continuing. As this practice becomes part of your daily routine, you will notice changes in how you think. You will become more aware of your choices. You will pause before acting against your goals. You will feel a stronger pull toward actions that support your vision. This is the real benefit. It is not just about imagining a better future. It is about becoming a person who naturally moves toward that future. Stay patient with yourself. Growth takes time. Visualization is not a quick fix. It is a tool that works through repetition and discipline. If you remain consistent, it will shape your mindset in a meaningful way. It will help you stay focused when distractions appear. It will help you stay calm when challenges arise. It will remind you of what matters when your attention begins to drift. Each day you practice, you are strengthening your ability to direct your mind. That is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. A mind that can hold a clear vision and act on it with discipline becomes a powerful force. It does not get pulled in every direction. It does not collapse under pressure. It continues forward with purpose. Keep your practice simple. Sit in stillness. Focus on one outcome. See it clearly. Feel it honestly. Connect it to action. Repeat daily. Let the process shape you. Over time, your thoughts will become more aligned with your goals. Your actions will become more consistent. Your results will begin to reflect the effort you have invested. When your inner world becomes clear and steady, your outer world begins to follow, not because something outside has changed first, but because you have changed the way you think, feel, and act. That is where real transformation begins. Chapter 30. Replace limiting thoughts with positive statements that guide actions. Every result in your life is shaped by the thoughts you accept as true. These thoughts often operate quietly in the background, guiding your decisions without asking for permission. When those thoughts are limiting, they restrict your actions before you even begin. A person may have ability, opportunity, and time, yet still remain stuck because the mind repeats quiet statements such as "this is too difficult," "this is not for me," "I always fail," or "nothing changes." These statements do not just describe reality, they create it through repeated behavior. To grow, you must take control of this inner dialogue. This does not mean pretending everything is perfect. It means replacing thoughts that weaken you with statements that guide you toward useful action. The goal is not empty positivity. The goal is disciplined thinking that leads to better choices. Your mind needs direction, not illusion. Start by becoming aware of your current thought patterns. Pay attention during moments of hesitation. Notice what you say to yourself when you face a challenge. When you delay important work, what is the reason you give yourself? When you avoid responsibility, what thought justifies that decision? Write these thoughts down without judgment. This step is important because you cannot change what you do not see clearly. Many limiting thoughts follow similar patterns. They exaggerate difficulty, underestimate your ability, and focus on past failure. For example, a person may think "I am not good enough to improve my skills," or "I never stay consistent," or "I always make mistakes." These statements feel real because they are repeated often, but they are not permanent truths. They are habits of thinking. Habits can be changed. Once you identify a limiting thought, challenge it with reason. Ask yourself if this thought is fully accurate. Look for evidence that contradicts it. Even small examples matter. If you believe you lack discipline, recall times when you completed a task despite resistance. If you believe you cannot improve, remember moments when you learned something new. This process weakens the hold of negative beliefs because it introduces balance. After challenging the thought, replace it with a statement that is both positive and practical. The replacement must guide action, not just sound good. For instance, instead of saying "I am perfect," which the mind may reject, say "I am improving through consistent effort." Instead of "I will never fail again," say "I learn from mistakes and adjust my actions." These statements are stronger because they are grounded in reality and tied to behavior. The key is repetition. A new thought will not become strong after one use. It must be repeated until it becomes familiar. Each time the old thought appears, replace it again. This requires patience. The mind will return to old patterns because they are comfortable. Your role is to redirect it without frustration. Over time, the new statement will begin to feel natural. When that happens, your actions will start to change. It is important to connect your positive statements to specific actions. Words alone do not create change. They must lead to behavior. If your statement is "I take action daily," then choose one action and complete it. If your statement is "I stay focused on my work," then remove one distraction and begin. This connection builds trust within yourself. When your actions match your words, your confidence grows. There will be moments when your thoughts become negative again. This is normal. The goal is not to eliminate all negative thinking. The goal is to reduce its influence. When a limiting thought appears, do not react with frustration. Acknowledge it and replace it. This calm approach prevents the thought from gaining strength. You remain in control. Your environment can also influence your thinking. If you are surrounded by negativity, your mind will absorb it. Pay attention to what you read, watch, and listen to. Choose inputs that support growth. This does not mean avoiding all difficulty. It means being selective about what you allow to shape your mindset. Protect your attention as you would protect something valuable. Another useful practice is to speak your positive statements out loud. Hearing your own voice adds weight to the words. It makes them feel more real. Stand with a steady posture and speak clearly. This physical action reinforces the message. Your body and mind begin to work together. This creates a stronger impression than silent thinking alone. Write your statements daily. Writing slows your thinking and increases focus. It allows you to choose your words carefully. Over time, you will notice patterns in your writing. You will see which statements help you most. You will also see how your thinking evolves. This record becomes a tool for reflection and growth. It is important to keep your statements simple. Complex language does not make them stronger. Clear and direct words are easier to remember and apply. For example, I act with discipline today, or I complete what I start, or I stay focused on what matters. These statements are easy to repeat and easy to follow. Simplicity supports consistency. Avoid creating statements that depend on external factors. Focus on what you can control. You cannot control every outcome, but you can control your effort and attitude. A strong statement might be, I respond to challenges with patience and effort. This keeps your attention on your own behavior. That is where change happens. There is also value in linking your statements to specific times of the day. In the morning, use them to set direction. Before work, use them to focus your attention. During difficult moments, use them to regain control. At night, reflect on how well you followed them. This structure turns your thinking into a daily practice rather than an occasional effort. As you continue, you will notice a shift in how you approach challenges. Situations that once felt overwhelming will feel manageable. You will begin to act more quickly because your mind is no longer filled with hesitation. This does not mean everything becomes easy. It means you become more capable of handling difficulty. One important principle is honesty. Your statements must reflect a genuine commitment to action. If you say, I am disciplined, but continue to avoid work, your mind will lose trust in your words. This creates conflict. To avoid this, choose statements that you are willing to support with action. Even small actions matter. Consistency builds credibility. Your progress may feel slow at times. Changing thought patterns requires effort, but each small shift contributes to a larger transformation. The mind adapts through repetition. Stay patient and continue the process. Over time, the new way of thinking will become automatic. Another benefit of this practice is increased self-awareness. As you observe and replace your thoughts, you learn more about yourself. You understand your triggers, your habits, and your tendencies. This knowledge allows you to make better decisions. You are no longer reacting without awareness. You are choosing your response. Do not aim for perfection. Aim for improvement. Some days you will handle your thoughts well. Other days you may struggle. What matters is that you continue. Each effort strengthens your ability to guide your mind. This is a skill that improves with practice. Your thoughts influence your emotions, and your emotions influence your actions. By changing your thoughts, you begin to change the entire pattern. You create a more stable internal state. This stability allows you to act with clarity even under pressure. It supports long-term growth. Stay committed to this process. Write your statements. Speak them. Act on them. Repeat daily. Over time, your thinking will become more constructive. Your actions will become more consistent. Your results will begin to reflect the effort you have invested. A disciplined mind does not eliminate difficulty. It faces difficulty with strength. By replacing limiting thoughts with positive statements that guide action, you take control of your direction. You stop allowing old patterns to decide your future. You begin to build a mindset that supports growth, resilience, and steady progress. Chapter 4Z. Take consistent action every day aligned with your goals. A goal without action remains an idea that never leaves your mind. It may feel meaningful when you think about it, but it does not shape your life until it is translated into daily effort. The gap between intention and reality is filled by what you do each day. not by what you plan to do someday. This is where many people struggle. They understand what they want. They even prepare for it. But when it comes to acting consistently, they hesitate, delay, or lose focus. Over time, this breaks trust within themselves. Consistent action is not about intensity, it is about reliability. It is the ability to move forward even when your energy is low and your motivation is quiet. Anyone can act when they feel inspired. Very few can act when they feel uncertain or tired. Yet those are the moments that define progress. If your actions depend on how you feel, your results will remain unstable. If your actions depend on your standards, your progress becomes steady. Start by removing the idea that you need to take large steps every day. Large efforts are difficult to sustain. They often lead to burnout and inconsistency. Instead, focus on small actions that you can repeat daily without resistance. These actions should be directly connected to your goal. If your goal is to improve your health, a daily walk, better food choices, and proper rest are enough to begin. If your goal is to grow your skills, focused practice for a set period is enough. The size of the action matters less than the consistency. You must also decide when you will act. Without a clear time, action becomes optional. Choose a specific part of your day and protect it. Treat it as a commitment, not a suggestion. When the time arrives, begin without debate. The mind will try to delay by offering reasons to wait. Do not argue with it. Start the action and let momentum build. Often the hardest part is beginning. Once you move, resistance decreases. Another important factor is simplicity. Complicated plans create confusion. Confusion leads to inaction. Keep your daily actions clear and direct. Know exactly what you need to do. If your plan requires too many decisions, you will waste energy thinking instead of doing. A simple structure allows you to focus on execution. You must also accept that not every day will feel productive. Some days your work will feel slow. Progress may seem invisible. This is normal. Growth does not always show immediate results. What matters is that you continue. Each action adds to a larger process. Over time, these small efforts accumulate. What once seemed insignificant becomes meaningful through repetition. Discipline plays a central role in this process. Discipline is not harshness. It is the ability to guide your behavior according to your goals. It allows you to act even when comfort pulls you in another direction. You may not always enjoy the work, but you can choose to complete it. This choice strengthens your character. Each time you follow through, you reinforce the habit of action. It is also important to measure your actions, not just your results. Results can take time. Actions are immediate. At the end of each day, ask yourself if you did what you planned. Did you take the steps that align with your goal? This reflection keeps you honest. It prevents you from believing you are making progress when you are not. Avoid comparing your daily effort to others. Your path is your own. What matters is that you are moving forward from where you started. Comparison can distract you from your own work. It can create unnecessary pressure. Stay focused on your process. Improvement is personal. There will be moments when you miss a day. This does not mean failure. It means you need to return to your routine without delay. Do not allow one missed action to become a pattern. Resume your effort as soon as possible. Consistency does not require perfection. It requires persistence. Your environment can support or weaken your ability to act. Remove distractions that interrupt your focus. Create a space where you can work without interruption. Keep your tools ready. Reduce the number of steps needed to begin. When your environment supports your goal, action becomes easier. It is also useful to limit the number of tasks you commit to each day. Too many tasks divide your attention. When attention is divided, quality decreases. Choose a few important actions and complete them with care. This builds a sense of progress. It also prevents overwhelm. Energy management is another key factor. Your ability to act depends on your physical and mental state. Take care of your body. Rest when needed. Eat in a way that supports your work. When your energy is stable, your actions become more consistent. Ignoring your health will eventually reduce your capacity to perform. You must also learn to act without waiting for perfect conditions. There will always be reasons to delay. Conditions are rarely ideal. If you wait for everything to be right, you will wait too long. Begin with what you have. Adjust as you go. Progress creates better conditions over time. Focus on the process rather than the outcome. When you focus only on results, you may become discouraged if they are slow to appear. When you focus on the process, you stay engaged in the work. The process is within your control. It gives you something to commit to each day. Accountability can strengthen your consistency. You can track your actions in a simple way. Mark each day you complete your task. This visual record shows your effort. It also creates a sense of responsibility. When you see a pattern forming, you are more likely to continue. Another useful approach is to prepare for challenges in advance. Identify situations that may interrupt your routine. Decide how you will respond. If you know you will be busy, plan a shorter version of your action. If you feel tired, commit to a smaller step instead of skipping entirely. Preparation reduces the chance of interruption. Consistency also requires patience. Results take time. The mind may become restless when progress is not immediate. During these moments, remind yourself of your purpose. Return to your actions. Trust the process. Time will reveal the value of your effort. It is important to celebrate completion, not just achievement. When you finish your daily action, acknowledge it. This reinforces the behavior. It creates a positive association with effort. Over time, this makes it easier to continue. Your identity begins to change through consistent action. You stop seeing yourself as someone who only plans and start seeing yourself as someone who follows through. This shift is powerful. It affects how you approach new challenges. You become more confident in your ability to act. You may notice that your resistance decreases over time. Actions that once felt difficult become routine. This is the result of repetition. The mind adapts to what you do regularly. Consistency reduces effort because it turns actions into habits. Stay focused on what matters. Avoid unnecessary tasks that do not contribute to your goal. Your time and energy are limited. Use them wisely. Each action should have a purpose. This keeps your progress aligned. There will be moments when you question your path. Doubt may appear. During these times, return to your actions. Action provides clarity. It keeps you grounded. Thinking alone cannot solve uncertainty. Movement creates direction. Your progress is built day by day. Each action is a step. Steps accumulate into results. Results shape your life. This process is simple but requires commitment. There are no shortcuts, only steady effort. Continue to act even when the work feels ordinary. Most progress happens in ordinary moments. It is not always exciting. It is often repetitive. But this repetition is what creates change. Stay with it. A disciplined approach to daily action strengthens your ability to handle larger challenges. As you build consistency, you develop resilience. You learn to continue despite difficulty. This prepares you for greater responsibility. Keep your focus on alignment. Ensure that your actions match your goals. If they do not, adjust them. Alignment keeps your progress meaningful. It prevents wasted effort. Over time, your consistent actions will produce visible results. These results will reinforce your belief in the process. They will motivate you to continue. But even before results appear, your discipline is already shaping your character. A life of progress is not built in a single moment. It is built through repeated action. Each day offers an opportunity to move forward. Use that opportunity with intention. Stay committed to your path. Act with purpose. Continue without unnecessary delay. When your actions become consistent, your goals begin to take form. What once seemed distant becomes achievable, not because of luck, but because of steady effort. This is how real change happens, through daily alignment between what you want and what you do. Chapter 50: Build daily habits that reinforce focus, discipline, and growth. Your life is shaped less by what you do occasionally and more by what you repeat every day. A single strong effort can feel satisfying, but it does not create lasting change unless it becomes part of a pattern. Habits are those patterns. They operate quietly, often without attention, yet they guide your behavior with steady force. If your habits are weak, your progress will be unstable. If your habits are strong, your progress becomes reliable. Focus, discipline, and growth are not traits that appear suddenly. They are built through daily repetition of simple actions. Each habit you form either supports your direction or pulls you away from it. There is no neutral ground. Every repeated behavior is shaping your future in some way. This is why it is important to build habits with intention rather than leaving them to chance. Begin by understanding that habits do not need to be complex. In fact, the simpler they are, the easier they are to maintain. Many people fail because they try to change too much at once. They create plans that demand high energy and constant motivation. When that energy fades, the habits collapse. A better approach is to start small and remain consistent. Small habits performed daily are more powerful than large efforts performed rarely. Choose one habit that directly supports your goal. Make it clear and specific. For example, if you want to improve focus, your habit could be working without interruption for a set period. If you want to grow your knowledge, your habit could be reading for a certain amount of time each day. If you want to strengthen discipline, your habit could be completing one important task before allowing yourself comfort. The habit should be simple enough that you can begin without hesitation. Consistency matters more than intensity. A habit that you perform every day, even in a small way, builds momentum. This momentum reduces resistance over time. What once required effort begins to feel natural. The mind adapts to repeated behavior. It begins to expect it. This expectation makes the habit easier to maintain. To strengthen a habit, attach it to an existing routine. This reduces the need to remember or decide when to act. For example, after waking up, you may sit for a few minutes to plan your day. After finishing a meal, you may take a short walk. By linking the new habit to something you already do, you create a structure that supports repetition. The fewer decisions you need to make, the more consistent you become. Your environment plays a strong role in shaping habits. If your surroundings encourage distraction, your focus will suffer. If your space supports clarity, your habits will improve. Remove what interferes with your attention. Keep your tools ready and visible. Make it easy to begin the behavior you want to repeat. At the same time, make it difficult to engage in habits that do not serve you. This simple adjustment can have a strong effect. Discipline is often misunderstood as forcing yourself to act against your will. In practice, it is about reducing conflict between what you want and what you do. When your habits are aligned with your goals, discipline becomes easier. You no longer rely on constant effort. The habit carries you forward. This is why building the right habits is more effective than relying on short bursts of motivation. It is also important to keep your habits grounded in reality. Avoid setting expectations that are too high at the beginning. If a habit feels overwhelming, you are less likely to continue. Start at a level that feels manageable. As the habit becomes stable, you can gradually increase the difficulty. This gradual approach allows your mind and body to adapt without resistance. Tracking your habits can strengthen your commitment. When you record your actions, you create a clear picture of your behavior. This removes guesswork. You can see where you are consistent and where you are not. This awareness allows you to adjust your approach. It also creates a sense of responsibility. When you see your progress, you are more likely to continue. There will be days when you do not feel like following your habits. This is where discipline becomes important. On such days, reduce the habit to its simplest form rather than skipping it entirely. If your habit is to read for 30 minutes, read for 10. If your habit is to exercise for an hour, move for a short period. The goal is to maintain the pattern. Breaking the habit completely makes it harder to return. Growth requires patience. Habits do not produce immediate results. At first, the changes may be subtle. You may not notice significant improvement. This can lead to frustration. It is important to trust the process. Each repetition is building a foundation. Over time, these small efforts accumulate. What once seemed insignificant becomes meaningful. Your mindset also influences how you approach habits. If you see them as a burden, you will resist them. If you see them as a path to improvement, you will engage with them more willingly. Shift your perspective. Each habit is an opportunity to strengthen your character. Each repetition is a step toward a better version of yourself. It is useful to reflect on your habits regularly. Take time to review what is working and what is not. If a habit is not supporting your goal, adjust it. If a habit feels too difficult, simplify it. This process of reflection keeps your approach effective. It prevents you from repeating actions that do not contribute to your progress. Avoid the temptation to compare your habits with those of others. What works for someone else may not suit your situation. Your habits should fit your goals, your schedule, and your energy. Focus on what you can maintain. Consistency is more valuable than imitation. Your habits also influence your identity. When you repeat an action daily, you begin to see yourself in a certain way. If you write every day, you start to see yourself as someone who writes. If you exercise regularly, you begin to see yourself as someone who takes care of your body. This shift in identity strengthens your commitment. You act in ways that match how you see yourself. It is important to protect your habits from disruption. Life will present challenges. Your schedule may change. Unexpected events may occur. Prepare for these situations by having a flexible approach. If you cannot follow your habit in its usual form, find a smaller version that you can complete. This keeps the pattern intact. Rewarding yourself for consistency can also be helpful. The reward does not need to be large. It can be as simple as acknowledging your effort. This creates a positive association with the habit. Over time, the habit itself becomes satisfying because you see the progress it brings. Focus is strengthened through repeated practice. Each time you direct your attention to a task and complete it, you train your mind to stay engaged. This ability improves with use. Distraction becomes easier to manage. You gain control over where your attention goes. Growth is the result of continuous improvement. Habits provide the structure for that improvement. Without habits, progress depends on random effort. With habits, progress becomes systematic. You know what to do each day. You follow the process. Results follow over time. Stay committed to building habits that align with your values. Do not rush the process. Allow your habits to develop naturally through repetition. Be patient with setbacks. Learn from them and continue. Each day offers a chance to reinforce your pattern. A disciplined life is not built through occasional effort. It is built through daily practice. Your habits are the foundation of that practice. Strengthen them with consistency, protect them from distraction, and adjust them as needed. Over time, they will shape your focus, your discipline, and your growth in a lasting way. Chapter 6: Practice gratitude daily to strengthen mindset and attract opportunities. Gratitude is often misunderstood as a soft or passive practice, something people turn to only when life is already comfortable. In reality, it is a disciplined way of thinking that strengthens your mind and sharpens your awareness. When practiced daily, it changes how you see your circumstances, how you respond to challenges, and how you recognize opportunities that would otherwise go unnoticed. Most people train their minds to focus on what is missing. They wake up thinking about problems, delays, and unmet expectations. This habit creates a constant sense of dissatisfaction. Even when progress is present, it feels small because attention is fixed on what has not yet been achieved. Over time, this pattern weakens motivation and reduces clarity. You begin to feel stuck, not because nothing is improving, but because your attention is trained to ignore what is working. Gratitude reverses this pattern. It trains your mind to notice value in your current situation. This does not mean ignoring difficulty. It means choosing to see both what is challenging and what is useful. When you recognize what you already have, your mindset becomes more stable. You stop reacting to every problem with frustration. You begin to respond with thought and intention. To practice gratitude effectively, you must make it a daily habit. It is not enough to feel thankful occasionally. Consistency builds strength. Set aside a few minutes each day to reflect on specific things you appreciate. These do not need to be large achievements. Small details matter. It could be your ability to think clearly, the effort you put into your work, the support of someone in your life, or even a moment of quiet during a busy day. The key is to be specific and honest. Write these reflections down. Writing slows your thinking and makes your awareness more precise. When you put your thoughts on paper, you give them weight. Over time, this record becomes a reminder of what is present in your life. On difficult days, you can return to it and regain perspective. Gratitude also strengthens your emotional control. When you focus on what is valuable, your mind becomes less reactive. You are less likely to be overwhelmed by minor setbacks. This does not remove challenges, but it changes your response. You remain calm, which allows you to think clearly and act effectively. A calm mind makes better decisions. This shift in thinking also affects how you approach opportunities. When your mind is focused on lack, you tend to overlook possibilities. You may ignore useful connections, ideas, or resources because your attention is fixed on what you do not have. Gratitude expands your awareness. It helps you recognize what is already available to you. This increased awareness makes it easier to take advantage of opportunities when they appear. There is also a connection between gratitude and effort. When you appreciate your current position, you are more likely to use it wisely. You begin to see your time, energy, and skills as resources that deserve attention. This leads to better use of what you already have. Instead of waiting for better conditions, you start working with your current situation. This creates progress. It is important to practice gratitude without forcing unrealistic feelings. You do not need to feel intense emotion every time. A steady sense of acknowledgement is enough. Focus on clarity rather than intensity. Simply recognizing value is a strong step. Over time, this recognition becomes natural. Another useful approach is to express gratitude toward your own efforts. Many people overlook their progress because they are focused only on results. Take time to acknowledge the actions you have taken. If you completed a task, improved a habit, or handled a situation with patience, recognize it. This builds confidence. It reminds you that your actions matter. Gratitude also improves your relationships. When you appreciate others, your interactions become more positive. You listen more carefully. You respond with respect. This creates stronger connections. People are more willing to support and collaborate with someone who shows genuine appreciation. This can lead to new opportunities and better outcomes. You can strengthen this practice by expressing gratitude directly. Thank people for their time, their effort, or their support. Be specific in your words. This not only benefits them, but also reinforces your own mindset. Speaking gratitude makes it more real. There will be times when practicing gratitude feels difficult. During periods of stress or disappointment, your mind may resist this habit. In those moments, focus on simple and immediate things. It could be your ability to breathe calmly, your ability to think through a problem, or the fact that you have another day to act. Even in challenging situations, there are elements that can be acknowledged. This does not remove the difficulty, but it prevents your mindset from becoming negative. Gratitude also helps you stay grounded. When you achieve progress, it is easy to become focused only on the next goal. While ambition is useful, it can lead to constant dissatisfaction if not balanced. Gratitude keeps you aware of how far you have come. It allows you to appreciate your progress while continuing to move forward. Another benefit of gratitude is increased resilience. When you face setbacks, a grateful mindset helps you recover more quickly. Instead of focusing only on what went wrong, you can identify what remains and what can still be used. This perspective supports problem solving. It keeps you moving rather than becoming stuck. You can integrate gratitude into different parts of your day. In the morning, use it to set a stable tone. Recognize something valuable before you begin your work. During the day, pause briefly to notice something positive. At night, reflect on what went well. This structure keeps your awareness balanced. Avoid turning gratitude into a routine that feels empty. Stay present during the practice. Think carefully about what you are acknowledging. If it becomes automatic without attention, its effect will weaken. Quality matters more than quantity. It is also important to combine gratitude with action. Appreciation alone does not create change. Use it as a foundation for effort. When you recognize what you have, you can decide how to use it effectively. This combination leads to meaningful progress. Your mindset influences your results. When you train your mind to focus on value, you create a stronger internal state. This state supports better decisions and consistent effort. Over time, this leads to improved outcomes. Gratitude does not remove the need for discipline, it supports it. A clear and stable mind is better able to follow through on commitments. You become less distracted by negative thinking. Your energy is directed toward useful action. As you continue this practice, you will notice a shift in how you experience your daily life. Small moments will feel more significant. Challenges will feel more manageable. Opportunities will become easier to recognize. This is not because your external situation has changed immediately, but because your perception has improved. Stay committed to this habit. Keep it simple and consistent. Write your reflections, speak your appreciation, and carry this awareness into your actions. Over time, your mindset will become stronger and more balanced. This will support your growth in a steady and lasting way. Chapter 7: Eliminate distractions and focus fully on meaningful, productive tasks. Your attention is one of the most valuable resources you have, yet it is constantly being pulled in different directions. Every notification, every unnecessary task, every moment of idle scrolling takes a small portion of your focus. Over time, these small interruptions weaken your ability to concentrate deeply. When your focus is divided, your work loses quality, your progress slows, and your mind becomes restless. If you want to move toward your goals with clarity, you must learn to eliminate distractions and direct your attention toward what truly matters. Distraction is not always obvious. It is not only loud noise or visible interruptions. It can be subtle. It can appear as checking your phone without purpose, switching between tasks too often, or thinking about things that are not relevant to your current work. These patterns may feel harmless, but they reduce your ability to stay engaged. Each time your attention shifts, it takes effort to return. This repeated loss of focus drains your mental energy. To regain control, you must first identify what is distracting you. Pay attention to your behavior during work. Notice when your focus breaks. Ask yourself what caused it. Was it a device, a thought, a habit, or an external interruption? Write these down if needed. This awareness is the first step toward change. You cannot remove what you do not recognize. Once you understand your distractions, begin to reduce them. Start with your environment. Create a space that supports concentration. Remove unnecessary items from your workspace. Keep only what you need for your task. If your phone interrupts you, place it out of reach or turn off notifications. If noise is a problem, find a quieter place or use simple methods to reduce it. Your surroundings should make it easier to focus, not harder. Next, limit the number of tasks you attempt at once. Trying to do many things at the same time weakens your performance. Your mind is not designed for constant switching. Each switch reduces efficiency and increases mistakes. Choose one meaningful task and give it your full attention. Complete it or reach a clear stopping point before moving to the next. This approach improves both the quality and speed of your work. It is important to define what meaningful work is for you. Not all tasks deserve equal attention. Some tasks move you closer to your goals. Others simply keep you busy. Learn to recognize the difference. Meaningful tasks require effort and focus. They often feel challenging because they demand your full attention. Busy tasks are easier. They fill time without creating real progress. Direct your energy toward what creates value. To strengthen your focus, work in structured periods. Set a specific amount of time for focused effort. During this period, commit to working without interruption. When the time ends, take a short break. This method allows your mind to rest while maintaining a clear boundary for work. Over time, you can increase the length of your focus periods as your concentration improves. Your mind may resist this structure at first. It may look for ways to escape the task. Thoughts may arise that suggest checking something or delaying the work. Do not follow these thoughts immediately. Observe them and return to your task. This is a form of mental training. Each time you bring your attention back, you strengthen your ability to focus. It is also useful to begin your day with your most important task. Your energy and attention are often stronger earlier in the day. Use this time for work that requires deep focus. Avoid starting your day with distractions. If you begin with scattered attention, it becomes harder to regain control later. Another important aspect is managing internal distractions. These are thoughts that pull your attention away from your work. They may be related to worries, plans, or memories. You cannot stop thoughts from appearing, but you can choose how to respond. When a thought arises, acknowledge it without engaging, then return to your task. This simple action reduces the power of internal distractions over time. Clarity also improves focus. Before you begin a task, know exactly what you need to do. If your task is unclear, your mind will wander. Define the next step. Make it specific. This removes uncertainty and allows you to begin with confidence. Clear direction reduces hesitation. Avoid the habit of constant consumption. Spending too much time taking in information without applying it can weaken your focus. It fills your mind with scattered ideas and reduces your ability to concentrate on one task. Balance learning with action. Use what you learn. This keeps your mind active and engaged. Rest is another important factor. A tired mind struggles to focus. Ensure that you are getting enough rest. Take short breaks when needed. During these breaks, step away from your work. Allow your mind to recover. This helps maintain your ability to concentrate over longer periods. Your commitment to focus must be intentional. It is easy to say you will concentrate, but without action, nothing changes. Decide that your attention is valuable. Protect it. Treat it with respect. When you choose to focus, remove what interferes with that choice. There will be moments when distractions return. This is part of the process. Do not become frustrated. Return to your task. Each time you do this, you reinforce your ability to stay focused. Progress is built through repeated effort. It is also helpful to measure your focused work. At the end of the day, reflect on how much time you spent in deep concentration. This gives you a clear picture of your effort. It also shows where improvement is needed. Use this information to adjust your approach. As your focus improves, you will notice changes in your work. Tasks will be completed more efficiently. The quality of your output will increase. You will feel more in control of your time. This creates a sense of progress and satisfaction. Eliminating distractions does not mean removing all forms of rest or enjoyment. It means choosing when to engage with them. Allow time for relaxation, but keep it separate from your focused work. This balance supports both productivity and well-being. Your ability to focus is a skill that develops over time. It requires patience and consistent effort. Stay committed to the process. Reduce distractions, define your tasks, and direct your attention with purpose. Over time, this practice will become easier. A focused mind is a powerful tool. It allows you to work with clarity and intention. It helps you move steadily toward your goals. By eliminating distractions and giving your full attention to meaningful tasks, you create a strong foundation for progress. Each moment of focus contributes to your growth. Continue to build this skill, and your results will reflect your effort. Chapter 80. Track progress regularly and adjust actions based on honest results. Progress cannot be trusted if it is not measured. Many people believe they are moving forward simply because they are busy, but activity alone does not guarantee improvement. Without clear observation, it is easy to repeat ineffective actions while assuming that effort will eventually lead to results. This creates a false sense of growth. True progress requires awareness, and awareness comes from tracking what you do and evaluating what actually changes. When you begin to track your progress, you bring your actions into the light. You remove uncertainty and replace it with evidence. This evidence allows you to see what is working and what is not. It prevents self-deception. It also gives you a clear foundation for making better decisions. Instead of relying on feelings, you rely on facts. Start by identifying what you need to measure. This depends on your goal. If your goal is related to health, you may track your daily movement, food choices, or energy levels. If your goal is related to work, you may track hours of focused effort, tasks completed, or skills practiced. Choose indicators that reflect your actions rather than outcomes you cannot control directly. Actions are within your reach. They provide immediate feedback. Keep your tracking method simple. A notebook, a basic chart, or a daily record is enough. The purpose is not to create a complex system. The purpose is to create clarity. Each day, record what you did. Be accurate. Do not exaggerate your effort. Do not hide your inaction. Honesty is essential. If your record is not truthful, it loses its value. At first, tracking may feel unnecessary. You may believe that you already know what you are doing. But memory is often unreliable. It tends to highlight what feels important while ignoring what is consistent. By writing things down, you create a complete picture. You see patterns that would otherwise remain hidden. Once you have a record, review it regularly. This review is where learning takes place. Look at your actions over a period of time. Notice where you are consistent and where you are not. Identify what leads to progress and what leads to stagnation. This process allows you to understand your behavior more clearly. When reviewing your progress, avoid emotional reactions. Do not judge yourself harshly if you see gaps in your effort. The goal is not to feel discouraged. The goal is to understand. Treat the information as data. It is neither good nor bad. It simply shows what is happening. This calm approach allows you to respond with reason rather than frustration. Adjusting your actions is the next step. If something is not producing results, change it. Do not continue repeating the same approach while expecting a different outcome. This requires flexibility. Be willing to modify your plan based on what you observe. This does not mean abandoning your goal. It means improving your method. For example, if you notice that your focus is weak during certain times of the day, adjust your schedule. If you see that your effort drops after a certain point, reduce the intensity and increase consistency. If a particular habit is not effective, replace it with a simpler one. These adjustments keep your progress aligned with reality. It is also important to recognize what is working. When you find actions that produce results, continue them. Strengthen them. Build your routine around them. Progress is not only about fixing problems, it is also about reinforcing success. This balance keeps your approach effective. Tracking progress also builds accountability. When you know that you will review your actions, you are more likely to act with intention. You become more aware of your choices throughout the day. This awareness influences your behavior. It encourages you to stay aligned with your goals. Another benefit is increased motivation. When you see evidence of improvement, even small improvements, it creates a sense of momentum. This momentum encourages you to continue. It shows that your effort is meaningful. Without this evidence, it is easy to feel that nothing is changing, even when progress is present. However, you must be patient. Results do not always appear immediately. There may be periods where your actions are consistent, but visible progress is slow. During these times, rely on your tracking. It will show you that you are still moving forward. This prevents you from giving up too early. It is also useful to track your challenges. Note when you face difficulty. Identify what caused it. This information helps you prepare for similar situations in the future. You can develop strategies to handle obstacles more effectively. This reduces the chance of repeated setbacks. Keep your focus on improvement, not perfection. Your records may show inconsistencies. This is normal. The goal is to reduce these inconsistencies over time. Each adjustment brings you closer to a stable pattern of action. Progress is built through gradual refinement. Your mindset plays a role in how you interpret your results. If you view setbacks as failure, you may become discouraged. If you view them as information, you can use them to improve. This perspective allows you to remain steady. It keeps you focused on learning rather than reacting. Tracking also helps you stay aligned with your priorities. It reminds you of what matters. When you review your actions, you can see if your time is being used effectively. If it is not, you can make changes. This prevents drift. It keeps your effort directed. Avoid comparing your progress to others. Your results are based on your actions, your circumstances, and your pace. Comparison can create unnecessary pressure. Focus on your own improvement. Measure your progress against your previous state, not against someone else. It is important to keep your tracking consistent. Irregular recording reduces accuracy. Make it a daily habit. Set a specific time to update your record. This creates a routine. Over time, it becomes part of your process. As you continue, your ability to evaluate yourself will improve. You will become more precise in your observations. You will make better adjustments. This skill is valuable. It allows you to guide your own progress without relying on external direction. Your actions shape your results. Your awareness shapes your actions. By tracking your progress, you strengthen your awareness. By adjusting your actions, you improve your results. This cycle creates continuous growth. Stay committed to this process. Record your actions honestly. Review them with clarity. Adjust with purpose. Repeat this cycle consistently. Over time, your progress will become more predictable. You will understand what works for you. You will be able to move forward with confidence. A disciplined approach to tracking and adjustment transforms effort into progress. It removes uncertainty and replaces it with direction. It allows you to learn from your own experience. This is how steady improvement is built. Through observation, reflection, and deliberate change. Chapter 9 Zane, surround yourself with supportive people who encourage growth and action. The people you spend the most time with have a profound impact on the way you think, act, and achieve. Human behavior is influenced by the environment, and that includes the social environment. If the majority of your interactions are with individuals who are passive, doubtful, or negative, you will unconsciously adopt similar patterns. Conversely, surrounding yourself with supportive, motivated, and action-oriented individuals naturally elevates your mindset. You begin to see higher possibilities as normal and achievable because your environment constantly reinforces it. Growth becomes easier when it is mirrored in those around you. Choosing your circle intentionally is a strategic step toward personal development. This is not about rejecting everyone or avoiding challenges, but about consciously allocating your attention to people who add value to your life. Supportive people push you to think bigger, encourage you to act even when motivation is low, and provide honest feedback that strengthens your decisions. Their presence creates accountability without pressure. It builds an environment where action becomes a natural response rather than a struggle. Supportive individuals inspire growth through their example. When you witness someone consistently pursuing their goals, maintaining discipline, and overcoming obstacles, it sets a standard. Observation becomes a form of education. You internalize their habits and attitudes. This influence is subtle but powerful. You start to adopt similar approaches without forcing yourself, simply because you are exposed to a model of success. Trust and honesty are central to these relationships. Surrounding yourself with people who encourage growth means engaging with those willing to speak truthfully, even when it is uncomfortable. Constructive feedback is invaluable because it identifies blind spots you cannot see on your own. Supportive individuals do not simply agree with you, they challenge you in ways that expand your capacity. Their honesty helps you adjust strategies and refine your mindset. Without such input, growth becomes slower and less precise. It is equally important to distance yourself from negativity and criticism that is not productive. Some people respond to your ambition with doubt, judgment, or discouragement. This energy drains motivation and increases internal resistance. Protecting yourself does not mean cutting off relationships entirely, but it does mean being intentional about how much time, energy, and trust you give to people who undermine your focus. By reducing exposure to negative influence, you create space for constructive energy to guide your actions. Supportive relationships are reciprocal. While you receive encouragement, you also provide it. Contributing to others' growth strengthens your own. When you help someone overcome a challenge or recognize their potential, it reinforces your understanding of growth principles. It builds empathy and sharpens your own sense of responsibility. Mutual support forms a cycle of positive reinforcement that benefits everyone involved. Physical proximity matters, but so does virtual connection. Modern communication allows you to interact with people who inspire you even if they are not nearby. Mentors, online communities, and groups with aligned goals can provide motivation, insights, and accountability. Engaging with these networks regularly maintains focus and reminds you of the standards you want to uphold. Surrounding yourself with growth-oriented influence is about quality and consistency, not just quantity of contact. Pay attention to how people speak and act around you. Language shapes thought, and repeated exposure to certain expressions influences your mindset. If you are constantly hearing doubt, excuses, or limitation, your brain internalizes these patterns. When you engage with people who speak about possibilities, solutions, and proactive behavior, it reshapes your internal dialogue. You begin to anticipate outcomes differently and act with more confidence. Accountability is a natural byproduct of supportive relationships. When others are aware of your goals, they become a mirror for your commitment. This does not need to be formal. Simply sharing your progress and intentions creates a subtle pressure to follow through. You are more likely to take action when you know your circle notices your consistency and effort. Accountability reinforces discipline without creating stress, and it naturally fosters steady progress. Supportive people also help you navigate setbacks. Growth is not linear and challenges are inevitable. Individuals who encourage action can provide perspective when you feel frustrated or stalled. They help you see obstacles as opportunities to adjust rather than reasons to quit. Their reassurance and guidance keep you grounded, reducing the temptation to abandon your plans during difficult periods. Emotional support in these moments is as important as practical advice. It is valuable to seek out individuals who have already achieved what you aspire to accomplish. Learning from those with experience shortens the path to success. Their insights highlight common pitfalls and effective strategies. They show what is possible and, more importantly, how to maintain consistency in pursuit of goals. By aligning with experienced and action-oriented individuals, you elevate your own standards and expectations. Building this network requires initiative. You must identify people who share similar ambitions or values, reach out and invest in those relationships. Passive association will not produce influence. Regular engagement, meaningful conversation, and shared activities strengthen bonds. The effort you put into cultivating supportive relationships directly impacts the quality of influence you receive. Like any skill, surrounding yourself with the right people takes discipline and intentionality. Supportive relationships also create a feedback loop for motivation. When you act, take risks, or try something new, having observers who recognize your effort increases self-confidence. Their validation is not about ego, it is about reinforcing positive action. This affirmation strengthens resolve and encourages further action. Over time, consistent interaction with such people trains your mind to view effort and initiative as normal and rewarding. Avoid over-reliance on any single individual for support. A diverse network spreads influence across multiple areas of your life. Friends, mentors, colleagues, and even casual acquaintances each contribute in unique ways. This diversity ensures that your growth is balanced and not dependent on one perspective. Exposure to different approaches, experiences, and advice strengthens adaptability and wisdom. Regularly evaluate your relationships. Are the people around you contributing positively to your growth? Do they encourage action and offer constructive feedback? If not, adjust your engagement accordingly. This evaluation is not selfish, it is strategic. Your energy and time are finite. Choosing how you allocate them is critical for sustained progress. Engaging with supportive people also sharpens your focus on your own goals. When conversations revolve around growth, improvement, and accountability, it keeps your objectives clear in your mind. You are less likely to become distracted by trivial matters or adopt limiting beliefs. Your attention naturally gravitates toward meaningful actions. The quality of your circle impacts your daily behavior. Habits, attitudes, and thought patterns are contagious. Exposure to action-oriented people trains your mind to act rather than procrastinate. Their example becomes a standard against which you measure your own performance. This creates subtle but powerful pressure to align your behavior with higher standards. Surrounding yourself with supportive individuals is not just about achieving goals faster, it is also about shaping character. You adopt patience, resilience, and discipline through observation and engagement. The lessons you receive from your circle become integrated into your decision-making process. Your social environment becomes an active tool for growth. Commit to building a network that reflects the version of yourself you aspire to become. Invest time, energy, and attention into these relationships. Learn from them, contribute to them, and stay consistent in engagement. Over time, This intentional association becomes a foundational element of your success. When you surround yourself with people who encourage growth and action, you create a reality where progress is expected, effort is recognized, and improvement is habitual. Their influence strengthens your mindset, sharpens your discipline, and amplifies your results. By being intentional about the company you keep, you shape not only your opportunities but the person you become. Chapter Headline A. Commit to lifelong learning and refine your mindset daily. Learning is not a phase that ends with formal education. It is a lifelong commitment that shapes the way you think, act, and grow. Every day presents an opportunity to refine your mindset, expand your understanding, and improve your approach to life. Without this continuous effort, even natural talent or early success can stagnate. Growth requires deliberate attention to what you know, how you interpret experiences, and the habits you choose to cultivate. A mind that is open and disciplined becomes a powerful tool for achieving goals and navigating challenges. Committing to lifelong learning begins with humility. Recognize that no matter how much you know, there is always more to discover. Avoid the trap of believing that past knowledge alone will carry you forward. Each day presents new challenges, technologies, ideas, and perspectives that require adjustment. Accepting that learning never ends prepares you to engage with each opportunity thoughtfully and without resistance. Develop a structured approach to learning. Identify areas that are most relevant to your goals and focus on them consistently. Read books, listen to experts, and observe those who have achieved what you aspire to accomplish. Choose materials that challenge your current understanding. Passive consumption will not create growth. Active engagement with new concepts and their practical application does. Take notes, reflect, and integrate what you learn into your daily routines. Mindset refinement is inseparable from knowledge acquisition. Learning without examining your thinking patterns can reinforce habits of limitation. Daily reflection allows you to assess your beliefs, assumptions, and reactions. Ask yourself whether your current mindset supports your goals. Are you avoiding challenges due to fear or comfort? Are your decisions aligned with your values and aspirations? Honest reflection helps you identify mental patterns that need adjustment. Daily practice is crucial. Lifelong learning is not only about absorbing information, it is about applying what you learn. Each insight should inform your actions. Testing ideas in real situations reveals their effectiveness. This cycle of learning, application, and reflection strengthens understanding and ensures that knowledge becomes practical, not theoretical. Developing curiosity is essential. Approach each day as an opportunity to explore. Ask questions about processes, outcomes, and behaviors. Challenge assumptions and seek alternative perspectives. Curiosity drives investigation and discovery, keeping your mind active and flexible. A curious mind is less likely to accept stagnation and more likely to pursue improvement. Consistency is critical. Small, regular learning efforts accumulate into substantial growth over time. A few minutes spent daily reading, reflecting, or practicing a skill compounds into significant improvement. Sporadic bursts of effort are far less effective. Lifelong learning requires routine, structure, and commitment even when progress feels slow or invisible. Adopting a growth mindset is fundamental to this process. Understand that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, practice, and persistence. Mistakes are not failures but information. Challenges are not obstacles but opportunities to expand your capability. This perspective encourages perseverance and prevents discouragement when results are delayed. Seek diverse sources of learning. Knowledge from a single field or perspective limits your understanding. Interdisciplinary learning enriches thinking, revealing patterns and connections that are otherwise hidden. Exposure to a variety of viewpoints, cultures, and experiences increases adaptability. It strengthens problem-solving skills and prepares you to respond effectively to unforeseen circumstances. Mentorship plays a valuable role in lifelong learning. Experienced individuals can provide insight that accelerates your understanding and prevents common mistakes. Engage actively with mentors, asking questions and testing their advice in real situations. Their guidance complements self-directed study and enhances perspective, providing both practical and strategic benefit. Embrace technology as a tool for learning. Digital resources, online courses, and interactive platforms make access to knowledge easier than ever. Use these tools strategically to supplement hands-on experience, observation, and reflection. Avoid distractions and aim for purposeful engagement. The goal is mastery and growth, not merely consumption of information. Daily refinement of mindset requires conscious effort. Begin by observing your thoughts without judgment. Notice recurring patterns that limit your potential. Replace fixed beliefs with adaptive strategies that encourage exploration, effort, and resilience. This deliberate attention transforms your thinking into an asset rather than a constraint. Evaluate your progress regularly. Reflect on what you have learned and how effectively it has been applied. Identify areas where improvement is needed and adjust your approach. This feedback loop ensures that your learning is not stagnant but evolving in alignment with your goals. Honest assessment allows for recalibration and continuous growth. Develop the habit of teaching or sharing knowledge. Explaining concepts to others clarifies your own understanding. It reveals gaps in comprehension and reinforces retention. Engaging in dialogue about new insights also exposes you to alternative interpretations and refinements. Sharing knowledge creates a dynamic learning environment that accelerates growth. Balance learning with action. Accumulating knowledge without practical application is wasted effort. Each day, seek opportunities to integrate insights into decisions, habits, and interactions. Evaluate outcomes and refine your approach. Action provides context for knowledge, turning abstract ideas into concrete skill and understanding. Challenge your comfort zone consistently. Lifelong learning often requires engaging with unfamiliar or uncomfortable ideas. Resistance indicates areas where growth is possible. Facing these challenges strengthens resilience, broadens perspective, and expands capability. The more you practice navigating discomfort, the more agile and confident your mindset becomes. Patience is essential. Deep understanding and meaningful change take time. Daily commitment compounds slowly, but the results are profound. Recognize incremental progress and celebrate small victories. Avoid the expectation of immediate transformation. Consistent learning and refinement build a foundation that supports lasting achievement. Lifelong learning fosters self-reliance. As your mind becomes more skilled at absorbing, evaluating, and applying information, you become increasingly capable of navigating challenges independently. Decisions become informed, strategies become deliberate, and confidence grows. This autonomy strengthens your ability to reach ambitious goals. Finally, integrate reflection, adaptation, and action into a daily rhythm. Each day presents an opportunity to observe your mindset, absorb new knowledge, test ideas, and adjust your behavior. This ongoing cycle transforms your growth from a passive aspiration into a practical reality. Commitment to learning and refining your mind is the difference between stagnation and continuous advancement. Over time, it ensures that your life remains aligned with your goals, resilient in the face of challenges, and oriented toward constant improvement.